boy South Knowledge, and we have one of our very own 757, Coach Shaun. I'm gonna let him introduce himself in his own way. Hey, my brother, what's going on?
How you doing? Yeah, my name is Coach Shaun. I'm one of the many boxing coaches in our great state of Virginia. I'm one of the few in our city of Norfolk. It's a pleasure to be on right now with my man Zay, childhood friend. When he asked me to do this, I had to jump at it. Kind of worried him, stayed on, but I had to do this because this was something I really wanted to do.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're here, man. You know what I mean? Glad you're here, man. And you do so much for the community, for the kids. I mean, you spend countless hours with them. It's like they say, give them their roses while they can smell them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I try to reach out to those being advocates in the community and bringing the kids off the street and, helping these kids change their life and, giving them direction. By us having the strikes already against us, I feel like it's good to put you at the forefront because there's so many of us that's not taking that role. The kids are steady dying, steady going to prison. I believe boxing is one of those things that can really boost your confidence and give you some, some guidance and, some type of structure. As far as boxing, what just gave you the notion to say, you know what, I want to be a boxer?
Well, actually, my father from Philadelphia, a big boxing town. He used to box for the Navy boxing team when he was down here in Norfolk at the Little Creek base.
Oh, man.
So that's what kind of got me involved in boxing. As I got older, my mom found out about a boxing team that the City of Norfolk had.
Oh, wow.
And she came home, she asked me, hey, you still want to do boxing? And I'm like, yeah. So she took me to the gym at the time. It was Coach Dan Campbell, who ended up going on to be the 2008 Olympic team head coach. That team Yeah. So, I went, and like a lot of young men in sports, we had a talent for it, but we don't really had a passion. We don't really had a drive. So for years, I did it was just something to do. But one thing I love about Coach Dan pushed me though. It was times Coach Dan actually came out in Park Place and found me outside, told me get in the van, let's go. I jumped in the van and rolled off with him. Same thing he did for other kids. So I was more so blessed through my mom to even get into the game of boxing.
I believe you fought on a professional level.
Yes.
You fought on a professional level. When you about to get in the ring, what motivates you the most? Like, if you can go back.
Well, one thing I can say in boxing in general, whether it's an amateur boxer or a professional boxer, they all roughly have the same feelings. There are times that you feel good before you get in the ring, and then when you climb in the ring, you're like, you're not feeling so good. But at the same time, you have to perform. You want to win this fight. And it's not always because of your opponent. Sometimes your feelings just change. You might be tired or whatever. Things happen. Once you climb through the ropes, you have to fight. A lot of time when we sit and watching fights on TV or fights live, you hear people say, oh man, he a bum, he this, he that. But it takes a lot of courage to get into those rings.
Okay, yeah, I do believe, I do believe, you know what I mean? This is my boy, Coach Shaun here, Coach Shaun Wilson. We'll be right back with you after our messages. Hey, we're back with your boy South Knowledge and my man out here, Coach Shaun. You know what I mean? Good brother, man.
Blessed through my mom to even get into the game of boxing.
So, I believe you fought on a professional level.
Yes.
You fought on a professional level. And, what was like your motivation like when you about to get in the ring? What motivates you the most? Like, if you can go back.
Well, one thing I can say in boxing in general, whether it's an amateur boxer or a professional boxer, they all roughly have the same feelings. There are times that you you feel good before you get in the ring, and then when you climb in the ring, you're like, you're not feeling so good. But at the same time, you have to perform. You want to win this fight. And it's not always because of your opponent. Sometimes your feelings just change. You might be tired or whatever. Things happen. So once you climb through them ropes, you have to fight. A lot of time when we sit and watching fights on TV or fights live, you hear people say, "Oh man, he a bum, he this, he that." But it takes a lot of courage to get into those rings.
Okay, yeah, I do believe, I do believe, what I mean? And, the passion for it, what I mean? The passion for it. When did it kick in, like, this is where I want to be?
Actually, it's funny because the passion kicked in when my son actually started boxing. My son started boxing, and instead of me training him, I took him to someone else to start him off. A good friend, a guy who very talented as a coach. His name was Tyler Trash. He took my son in, and we began to work with him, and I was liking what I was seeing, and and then time came when I was asked to help volunteer. So I volunteered. It was just great watching my son develop, and then while volunteering, seeing the other kids develop that I'm working with, it really just brought it out. That passion, it brought that passion out in me. And 8 years strong, I've been coaching.
Oh man,
I love it.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, I love it. Coached on the national level. Hopefully one day I get to coach on the international level. Follow my old coach, Dan Campbell, and even a female coach who I worked alongside for 6 years, Gloria Peak. Gloria Peak went on to become the first female, she was African American, but the first female in general to coach at the Pan Am Games for boxing, and also coach at the Olympics in 2012.
Right. Let me tell you a little bit about that, because I went to training with her. I went to training with her for maybe about a good week, and she don't cut no corners.
No corners.
She's straightforward.
Yes.
You know what I mean, and she's about her work. You
Yes.
know what I mean. So
Yes.
I'm very familiar with her.
Yes.
She was it 2012?
12.
Yeah,
2012.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. 2012. I remember that. I watched it.
Yes.
Yeah. So so far as the influences, what is the basic fundamentals between trainer-coach relationship that would cause someone to be successful in this field? What can you give the people about that?
When it comes to coaching, in my personal opinion, to be a successful coach, you not only need to know whatever activity you're coaching, but you need to play mentor to your athletes. That's key. Anybody can teach a person to win, and a lot of times, honestly, these kids are just natural athletes.
Okay.
So anybody can teach them to win, the fundamentals about, but you have to also be able to be more so a life coach.
Yeah.
They have to believe in you, and that's something that I'm seeing a lot with the athletes I deal with. Sometimes they believe more in me than they believe in themselves.
Right.
But as a coach, you have to have that relationship with your athlete, or else there's limited success. Their success is limited.
Right. So I like that. If you guys didn't get it, we have to get that trust bond, a belief. You know what I mean? Whether you coach a basketball, football, soccer, whatever sport you're coaching, not even sports. You know what I mean? If you're just a coach, period, you got to be the example and allow these kids to believe you. So I want to talk about have you ever trained in the same gym with like an international boxer or anything of that nature?
Not since it's been so long since I actually fought. As a coach, I can say it's always been a pleasure to be in the company of guys like Shakur Stevenson, very humble kid. In my opinion, was the best amateur boxer in the world. 2016 Olympic Games, he won the silver medal, which I feel that if he fought that kid again, he'll punish him.
Yeah.
But Shakur Stevenson, different kids that y'all haven't even had an opportunity to know yet. Like the Davis brothers, Keon and Keyshawn Davis, Nick Sullivan, which is a kid I trained, Nick Sullivan, Troy Isley, who is up in Alexandria. He's a 165, and trust me, he's very exciting. Very exciting. Young kid, Shoo from New York. Very exciting kid. So it's even more kids who haven't made it to that level yet, but you know, they're on their way. Even getting to rub shoulders and had conversations with guys like Ivan Robinson, who's a world champion. Guys like Mark Too Sharp Johnson, Hall of Famer and world champion. Pernell Whitaker. You know, Pernell Whitaker. No matter what you think about him, when it comes to Pernell Whitaker on that professional level, he was the man, and his name gonna last longer than me.
And speaking of, you know, Pernell Whitaker, one of our 757 very own, man. You know, we always try to, you know what I mean, bring out the bad, but one thing I can say about him, he went after those kids, man. One thing I can say about him, he went after those kids, and he had a love for them. You know what I mean? This wasn't something he was just trying to do, you know what I mean, for a tax write-off. You know what I mean? He did it from his heart, you know. So, you know, big up to, you know, Pernell Whitaker, man. You know, big up to him.
And you know what? Pernell Whitaker has done stuff for the animal that many people don't know about. You know, it's not my place to tell it. Talking about from 8 years old. They 8 years old, they're breeding killers. You look at them, these kids fighting like the grown men you see on TV. You know, when you go to a show in DC, it's like a pro show. It's definitely on fire in there. And the kids fight. You know, they fight their heart out. You know, you see everything they train to do, they do it. So it'll have to be that DC, Maryland area. It'll have to be that area. For one, because I'm always out to get them. I'm always out to get them. That's something that I'm always out to get them. You know, always.
So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, because I got a friend of mine that stayed in Baltimore. He tell me a lot about those guys.
It's going down. Yes.
Yeah, they don't play no games.
None.
You know.
And they have great coaches. Great coaches up there. A lot of great coaches up there. Yes.
So, as far as like, you know, the sites, what outside of boxing, you know, you travel, you know, state to state. What state, you know, can you say that you have been to? You know what I mean? That, you know, you was like, you know what I mean? It was inspiration. You know what I mean? That you went there and you say, man, you found thought, you know what I mean? And
it had to be, it's weird, in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, man.
Somewhere I never thought I'd go, you know, in my opinion. I really didn't care to go. But once I got there, I drove around. And when I drove around, I kind of got lost. And when I got lost, I ended up in the mountains. So I started taking pictures, you know, getting out the car, just looking, just sitting. You know, it gave me an opportunity to think, you know, and just kind of like talk to myself in a way.
So you lost, I mean, what was the attitude, man? I mean, you on the mountain?
Yeah, I was lost. Well, I was by houses at first, nice big houses at first, but then I ended up in the mountains. You know, I didn't get too scared of anything because the mountains, that scenery, kind of just caught my attention and took me somewhere else. So it was more so wild, you know, wild these mountains and the sights. And it seemed like the more I drove, just the higher a mountain went, and there was another mountain over there. So it was real peaceful. It gave me time to think. you know,
Yeah.
reflect on myself. One thing I like to do as a coach, I like to sit back and critique myself.
Right.
You know, critique myself the same way I critique my athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to critique myself. Make sure that I'm stand up on what I'm doing, because a lot of time from us doing something for so long, we can tend to fall off. Yeah.
Right.
So every so often I like to critique myself, look back on what I'm doing, how my athletes been doing, why they doing like that, what could I do to make them better? You know, instead of just yelling.
Right.
You know, what can I do to make them better?
Right. As far as the guys you're coaching, you know,
And girls.
Girls?
I had two girls. I had two
Okay.
girls.
So, who should we be looking out for?
Man, I have a whole little hit squad. It's on in our gym is probably about 30, a little over 30, but I have roughly 10 of them that I train on a daily. My young girl Carmen White, she goes to Granby High School.
Big ups to Carmen White.
Definitely somebody to look out for.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to get females fights, so you know a lot of time we have to travel. But one of the things that I love about her, when she first came in the gym, she never asked me, is she going to be fighting boys or girls, or sparring boys or girls, you know. So when it came time for her to spar, I could only throw her in there with boys, because that's all we had, you know. And she was content, never complained, you know. She was content, and it shows, you know. It shows in her skill, because she actually fight like the boys. You know, she ain't throwing no wild stuff. She actually fight like the boys with the technique and everything. You know, so
who's another one?
Tyon Harris. Tyon Harris. A lot of people already know about Nick Sullivan, but Tyon Harris. Oh man, Chance Scales. Chance Scales stay right over in Young's Park. Chance Scales, young kid. He only had 2 fights.
Okay. They got the Chance Scales, man. Keep working, man.
He's 1-1 right now, but definitely work hard. Definitely work hard. And then Lil J, Jason Murray. Jason Murray, definitely. This kid, 12 years old, fight at in between 70 and 75 pounds. He actually will be fighting in Maryland on May 13th. I'll have a fight up in Maryland. But Jason Murray, very talented kid. Always say he's special, very special kid. You know.
Jason Murray, he said he got a fight when?
May 13th.
May 13th. You guys that know this kid, you know, or know my brother here, get in contact with him, support this kid. You know what I mean? Support him. You know what I mean? We got up and coming stars, man. We gotta support him. You know, throw one more out there, you know.
I have to say my kid Nick Sullivan though.
Nick Sullivan.
You know, like I said, a lot of people are aware of him. You know, he is one of our elite fighters. But Nick Sullivan definitely, but maybe in another year he'll be turning professional. We're looking to turn him professional. Keep your ears and eyes out for, it's a nonprofit, Andrea Cares. Andrea Cares is a nonprofit dedicated to serving the young men in the community. Not just black kids, just minorities as a whole. Because we feel that if we can get all the young men on the same page, everybody else will follow. You know, they have no choice but to follow. Like men right now, men are the leaders of the world. You know, so if we can get young African Americans, young white, young Indians, young Hispanics, we can get everybody to start thinking together and looking out for one another, then our sisters, our ladies will follow us. You know, they will follow us. And so keep an eye and ear out for Andrea Cares.
Andrea Cares, keep an eye and ear out for Andrea Cares. You know, signing out here with my boy, my man, longtime friend, Coach Shaun. Peace and love.